There is a global crisis today, putting all of us at risk. It's all around us. No one is immune from it. We sometimes may not even know when it has hit us. The crisis is an increasing lack of trust in what we commonly call truth. Millions around the world are expressing doubt in reliable sources. Phrases such as hoax, fake news, conspiracy are bandied about, blurring the line between what is credible and what is fabricated. Well-intentioned but gullible consumers of information find it difficult to distinguish truth from falsehood. A large segment of society has become fact-resistant. A healthy dose of skepticism is a good thing. It prevents us from blindly accepting whatever we're told. Critical thinking demands that we question the information we receive. Having doubts is beneficial when it pushes us to seek evidence for our beliefs. But confirmation must come with due diligence. We should not be satisfied with simple or superficial answers. Nor should we allow our doubts to paralyze our pursuit of truth. If you're anything like me, you may have experienced moments when you simply don't know what to believe. My instinct for doubt is so strong that I even doubt my own doubts. Some reach a point where they doubt that it's possible to know truth at all. But I'm here today to talk about not the deeper philosophical questions of epistemology and how we can know that we know. I reached a point in my youth where I was so disturbed by my doubts that I had to make a compromise with myself. I could have doubts about the great existential mysteries of the universe, but I would not surrender my belief in the day-to-day realities of life. I resolved to maintain my belief that truth exists and that I should seek it. This decision inspired me to become a student of knowledge and then a career scholar. And if you doubt my commitment to seeking the truth, just look at the funny hat I was willing to wear in order to seek it. Let me say something about knowledge and learning here. Ignorance is not a mortal sin. It is easily remedied by curiosity and study. But willful and persistent ignorance is a crime against self and society. Likewise, grasping onto beliefs in spite of compelling or irrefutable evidence is a mistake that can have dire and far-reaching consequences. In 2018, a poll by YouGov found that 4% of people surveyed believe that the world is flat. Another 5% have doubts that the world is round. And about 7% answered that they are not sure one way or the other. Of course, flat earthers are a fringe population, and their belief has been disproven centuries ago. But here's the thing. Ironically, in recent years, the belief that the world is flat has been spreading around the globe. Julius Caesar once said, "Men easily believe what they want to." Our subtle wish for something to be true may unconsciously influence us to believe it or to reject contradictory evidence. In the worst cases, this causes people to deny facts and repeat lies. And a lie repeated often enough becomes believable. Now, someone may ask, what's the problem? You're overreacting. Why not just let people believe what they want to believe? And I would concede that some unconventional beliefs held by an individual have little or no effect on the world at large. Even if people believe the Earth is flat, it will still continue to turn on its axis. In other words, facts remain true whether you believe them or not. But the crisis of truth that I'm talking about today is not so harmless. The intensifying denial of facts and the perpetuation of big lies present a clear danger with real-world consequences. From politics to the environment to public health, we've reached a critical point in history where disbelief has become a war cry, and information has become a weapon that can be deployed anywhere in an instant. Lies proliferate quickly in the information age. Misinformation is easily manipulated into disinformation with the intent to brainwash. The stakes of refuting or affirming truth have never been greater. The crisis of truth is a life and death problem because we share this world and its resources, and if we don't share the same idea of truth, then we would be living in our own separate realities. People could then justify not acknowledging the real needs of others. How can we survive if some people deny the existence of existential problems that put us all at risk? Now, what can we do to verify the facts? You've probably heard of something being described as tried and true. This means that something has gained the status of truth because it has been practiced and experienced. It's been tested. I'm about to explain some basic principles for verifying facts that may be summed up in a single phrase. It's true because it's been tried. As soon as we're born, we begin to take information in from the environment surrounding us. At first, we simply recognize whatever our senses perceive. And this data of tastes and smells and sights and sounds become the foundation of our reality. In time, we begin to attribute meanings to our perceptions, forming words and concepts. Small children are incapable of perpetrating or detecting deception. The idea that something they are shown or told is not real is unimaginable to them. But it's not long before the power of make-believe appears. Eventually, everyone learns to lie, though the ability to detect deception of others usually lags behind. As we mature, our minds form a complex network of understanding and interpretation of facts about the world at large, which is called our worldview. This body of knowledge is constantly expanded and supplemented by what we learn. Inevitably, we encounter new information that challenges the existing content of our worldview and may contradict previously held beliefs and values. When this happens, we experience what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. The introduction of new and conflicting ideas into one's mind causes great discomfort and confusion because it shakes our sense of reality. The first and most common reaction is to deny the truth of the new information and reject it. For most people, when the facts are too strong to deny, there's no choice but to accept them and adjust our beliefs and our attitudes to accommodate them. But in certain cases, people are unable to make the necessary adjustment, and they become stuck in denial. Unfortunately, such cases are more and more prevalent today as we are bombarded from all sides by a torrent of information. It's enough to make someone doubt simple facts and withdraw from the pursuit of truth altogether. In the face of such struggle, why not just give up? Why bother? Here I defer to someone far wiser than myself. Siddhartha Gautama, known as the Buddha, saw truth as a means to address the existential problem of suffering. He struggled mightily in his quest, first through ascetic practices and then by deep meditation. Eventually, he awakened with answers to the questions of life. He taught others a practical method for reaching this realization themselves. But people needed to be convinced that what he was teaching was true. They came to him and they asked, how can they be assured? How could they verify what he claimed? He told them not to follow reports or traditions, scripture, conjecture. He even told them not to accept something just because their teacher had said so. He said they should ascertain for themselves that a teaching was efficacious, affirmed by the wise, and when implemented, leads to welfare and happiness. Only then should you embrace it. The Buddha instructed his followers to put his teachings to the test. In other words, it's true because it's been tried. The Buddha was promoting what we nowadays would call empirical knowledge, which is knowledge verified by observation and experience rather than by theory or speculation. Empiricism is the modern standard for ascertaining truth. What we call the scientific method is an empirical process for testing theoretical claims. And this leads to a conclusion that is posited as scientific truth. The scientific method is simple, but sophisticated theories and experiments require specialized knowledge and training. Scientists are experts whom we rely upon for their expertise. Experts earn the public's trust through diligent pursuit of correct knowledge. We rely on experts to do this on our behalf for the edification of humanity as a whole. The Buddha, not a scientist, was also a kind of an expert. His expertise consisted in distilling complex metaphysical concepts into practical guidance. He told his students to test the truth claims through their own experience and thereby avoid blindly believing in received knowledge. But when he said not to rely on traditional teachings, I don't think he was telling them to reject all traditions outright. There's a reason why traditions survive and are passed down. They endure because they have stood the test of time. I think the Buddha meant for us to discard extraneous tradition, but not the core of their truth. When one cites worthy traditions, one is standing on the shoulders of giants and honoring the expertise of the past. And if we find some traditional knowledge no longer serves us, it can be amended. Traditions are constantly reborn. We learn from our past mistakes. So here are 3 things to remember when dealing with the current crisis of truth. Embrace empirical knowledge, espouse the experts, and trust trustworthy traditions. With these, we can reassure ourselves that truth is, in fact, ascertainable. Then we can engage in the struggle to defend it against lies, denial, and distortion. We must speak out against disinformation. Remember, lies that are repeated loudly and often become truth for many people. We must not allow such falsehood to remain uncontested. We mustn't concede the facts. Science and history are on our side. Don't be afraid to scrutinize your own beliefs or have others challenge them. Be prepared to amend your paradigm if proof comes along to refute it. The pursuit and defense of truth require a healthy dose of humility. And when challenging the beliefs of others, we should respect their feelings. Their own cognitive dissonance is already causing them a great deal of discomfort. There have always been deniers of truth, both active and passive. The active are the ones who peddle lies, while the passive are gullible victims. The current crisis is perpetuated by both types. Liars need to be called out publicly. The deceived must be coaxed into overcoming their misplaced skepticism after they have been shown compelling evidence. While truth may be questioned, it is never vanquished. But truth only prevails through diligent effort. We cannot afford to be complacent in this struggle because there are always people whose interest is in manipulating the truth for others. But we are armed with something more powerful than their weaponized lies. We have the facts. And even when doubts arise, we have the remedy. We have the assurance of empiricism, expertise, and trusted traditions. And we know that it's true because it's been tried. And we continue to try because we can ill afford to relinquish the belief in a common shared reality. It is our only hope for rising to meet the very real challenges of our time. Thank you.